Hi lovelies, and welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you're returning. Now today I've got a notebook out because I am going to do a VR to Sylvia over at Twilight Tarot. Now when I first saw her do this video I thought I must do a VR to that, but if I don't do a VR straight away I immediately forget. Then I did a response and it reminded me again. This morning with my morning coffee I watched Rochelle as well over Amethyst Ascension do a response, and each time it's reminded me. So I'm going to do a response. All of those 3 videos I'm going to put in the description box below. But this is a VR response to blind ranking 10 decks. I just thought it was so fun. Now each of the ladies got their husband to pick 10 tarot decks and put them in a bag so you can't see what they are. I this morning got Tilly to pick me 10 tarot decks. She was in my room for an age, making me sit with my eyes shut so she could choose 10 and put them in the bag. So she's picked 10. She's done a really good job, I'm sure, because she took ages to pick. She did say at the end that she'd been looking for my very first tarot deck, the Muse. So bless her, she remembered the name of the deck and the fact that it was the first deck that I reviewed. It's actually my second tarot deck, the Muse. She couldn't find it, so I went and found it at the back of the cupboard for her. She said, could she guess where I would have put this? She thinks that when I finished ranking all of the 10 decks that she's picked, that this will be in the number 1 spot. So we're going to put that to one side. So the Muse is in play because that's the one that Tilly was really looking for. So we'll come back to that at the end. Okay, so I've not seen in the bag. I'm going to reach down now and just pull one out without looking. Oh, okay. Oh, I love this one. So this is Gabriella Herstick, the Goddess of Love Tarot. I've loved this one. I love red and pink together. I think red and pink together is just really, really gorgeous. And I tell you what else I've really loved about this one. I've really loved the guidebook with this one. I think the guidebook is beautiful. I love the collage element of the cards, and I've had some really lovely readings. I worked with this quite consistently actually at the start of the year and just thought it was lovely. So yeah, this is actually, oh my gosh, where to put this one? Oh, it's difficult when you don't know what other decks have been picked. But I do like this one, I really do. I mean, look at that tower card. I just love it. And it's got roses on. A lot of my collage decks actually have roses on, and I do love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love this one. I love the imagery, but like I say, if you're on the fence about this one, I've said this before on the channel, the guidebook is lovely, I think. And it's taken sometimes my understandings of the cards or the way I naturally interpret the cards on slightly different tangents in some of my readings, and I've really loved it for that. Like, it feels like it's added into my tarot practice, which I really love. So for that I was going to put it at 5 only because I don't know what else is coming, but you know what, I think I'm going to put this on a ranking of 4. I think the guidebook for me has pushed this one up, so I'm going to put the Goddess of Love Tarot in at number 4. What have we got? Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got the Zombie Tarot. Oh, another cool one. Now Tilly did say I picked a scary one. I bet this was the one she was talking about. She said there's a scary one in there, Mum. So the Zombie Tarot. Now, oh gosh, I love this one. So this is a very strongly bonded pair. After I say this every time I share this deck, I must be getting like a broken record. I'm sorry if I am. But I saw the much missed Saturnarium on her channel talk about this deck paired with the Nicoletta Ciccoli, and it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. So I'd got the Nicoletta Ciccoli, but I'd not got this deck. I could not get this deck at all. I was like, absolutely no. It was a hard pass from me. But when I saw it paired with the Ciccoli, I immediately ordered it. And to be honest, that pairing is a pairing that very rarely gets put away. It's probably my most strongly bonded pair. So I don't think actually I've ever used this deck without using it with the Nicoletta Ciccoli Tarot. The two really do go together. Oh my gosh. So it's hard really to rank this deck on its own. I suppose, oh, what am I doing? I suppose I need to rank this deck for just what it means in my practice, which is a pairing for the Ciccoli. Absolutely brilliant for me, for me seeing through the fog of some of my shadows, those two pairings. I love it. Seeing through smoke and mirrors and getting to the truth of things in your life that may be gaslit. So I love it for that. Gosh, this is going to have to go above the Goddess of Love because it's so important in my practice. Okay, I'm going to put this in at number 3. Okay, let's reach into the bag for the next deck. Oh, okay, she's gone for my very first indie deck that I ever treated myself, the Luminous Void Tarot. So this was bought on the first Christmas. Actually no, this might, yeah, it was Christmas or birthday, the first year that I did tarot. It might even have been my second year, and I just always assumed that indie decks were for other people. I just couldn't justify to myself the extra expense when I love mass market so much. But I was very much in a you're not worth anything sort of mode. Everybody else is, but you're not. And I was doing a lot of healing with my tarot practice around that, like putting myself higher and higher up my own priority list and learning how to do that. And I think, yeah, this might have been the end of the second year of my tarot practice. And out of all the tarot decks that were indie that were out there, I was seeing this one. This is the one that I'd fallen hook, line and sinker for. And I just decided to do it. So I saved up, and either for birthday or Christmas I bought this deck, as my birthday's in November, at the end of November, so it kind of all comes together. I decided to get one indie tarot and one indie oracle. So I got this as the tarot and I got the Weaver's oracle. I'm so glad I did. Now, having said that, this hasn't had as much use as I would have thought it would, and for the life of me I can't tell you why, because I love this soft watercolor style. I just love the images. I just think it's very ethereal. It's very kind of liminal space. I mean, it's called the Luminous Void, for goodness sake, but it definitely has that feeling. It's very spirit focused, I think. I love that Chariot card. Also, I love all of the crowns in here. I love them. I just love the way the figures, especially the faces, kind of ooze out. It can be a bit spooky as well, but I don't think that detracts. Love the Five of Cups. I mean, look at that for a card. It's just so gorgeous. I love the colour palette of it. The card stock is rose petal. It's beautiful. It does make it slightly clumpier to shuffle, but yeah, I love it, but it's not been overly used a lot. I've got a lot of mass market decks that I've used way more than this, which is surprising. It also goes to show that if you do have just mass market, which I did for well over a year, that there's nothing wrong with that, because like mass market decks are some of my all-time favorite decks. In fact, they are. So I think sometimes we can think that if it's not indie, it isn't quite as special, but that's not the case, because this hasn't had as much use as a lot of my mass market decks, even though I absolutely love it. You get what I'm saying, don't you? I think indie decks are fantastic. I think mass market decks are fantastic, but sometimes budget doesn't reach. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, this is one I saved for and won. I was absolutely thrilled to get. My choosing of this one was, I looked at all the indie decks that were out at the time, and I said, which one would you be the most gutted about if it suddenly went out of print and you could never get it? And it was just an easy decision then. It was this one. So yeah, that's the Luminous Void Tarot. But where am I going to put that on the ranking list? Do you know what? I think I'm going to put it at number 6. Yeah, I'm going to put it at number 6. Right, what is coming next? Let me reach down into the bag. Oh, Tilly said there is a big one in there as well. So this is the Rose Alchemy Rose Oracle for the Heart by Sandy Humby. Now, Sandy's work resonates an awful lot with me. She very much listens to the voices of nature, and this Rose Alchemy deck is one that she has kind of used the voices of roses to create a really healing deck. This card is one of my all-time favorite cards in the deck. On Sandy's site, she does do work as well with Spirit of Place, which I really am fascinated with. She also has done some amazing crystal grids with these cards as well that are so stunningly beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love this deck so much. Do you know what, guys? I'm so tempted to put this in the number 1 spot. Gosh, I'm really tempted to put this in the number 1 spot. I'm trying to think what Tinny could have possibly picked that would knock this out of the number 1 spot. Oh gosh, do I put this in the number 1 or the number 2 spot? Okay, I might just put this in the number 2 spot just in case, but I'm very torn with putting this in the number 1 spot. Now, the bonded pair that I love working with this oracle with is actually another oracle, which is rare for me to put 2 oracles together with no tarot at all. But this works beautifully with Thea from Garden Goddess Tarot, with her Hellenic oracle, which is like a Greek pantheon based oracle deck. And it's uncanny really, because when me and Thea did Garden Arcana, that series of videos together last summer, as a thank you for spending the summer with me, basically I sent Thea a copy of this deck because it's UK based, and I just ordered it and then posted it across to her as a thank you. She also got the same idea and posted me the Hellenic oracle as a thank you, and so they were both kind of on my desk at the same time, my copy of this and the Hellenic oracle that had just arrived, and I just put them together to see and was blown away, and they formed a bonded pair as two, which is really lovely. But I have used this deck, unlike the Zombie Tarot, I have used this deck with other decks as well, and it's just beautiful. Right, so the Rose Oracle, I am very tempted to put it in number 1 spot. I'm going to put it in the number 2 spot. Right, what's coming out of the bag next? Oh, I can feel one in a bag. Oh my gosh, she went into a drawer that I hadn't even said. The drawer is where all my classics are. So yeah, this is a Rideaway. So this is, oh my gosh, I can never remember which one this is. There we go, it's on the top. This is the Radiant Rideaway Tarot. Now I bought this second hand. Now the story behind this one was that I'd bought the original Rideaway from my local metaphysical shop, started using that one near the start of my tarot journey, and then surprisingly, with no warning, my dad's voice came through it, and he kept calling me to go and get the deck to talk to him, and I had repeating cards. It was the first time anything like that had happened, and it kind of blew me away. So when that happened a few times, it kind of meant that I didn't want to just pull that deck out just for general readings or for study. So the original Rideaway deck kind of got sort of sidetracked for a different role in my practice, and it's now just my dad's deck for mediumship work with my dad's voice. So I was without a Rideaway again. So I went online and I was buying a different deck. What deck was it? It was another deck I was buying. Somebody was getting rid of a deck online. I can't even remember what the other deck was that I bought. But as part of the deal, she threw this deck in with the crochet bag. I think it was already pre-edged, and I think it might even have been trimmed. Yeah, look, it looks like it's been trimmed. So this is how it came to me. When I first got it and worked with it, I loved it so much more than the original, because it was bright, it was clearer, it didn't have the muted colours, it had these vibrant, radiant colours, hence the Radiant Rideaway. And I loved it more, but as time's gone on, I don't feel the same about it. I have now the plaid back Rideaway, which is crisp and clear without the bright colours, and I think that's my very favourite. And I've really come back onto the muted tones of the original as well, even though I still don't use that deck for anything other than mediumship work for my dad. So this kind of doesn't see really the light of day anymore, because if I want to work with a Rideaway, I pull out the plaid back one. So I think, oh my gosh, am I going to get into trouble if I say I think this is number 10? I'm going to put this in at number 10. Oh, we have a circular one. What has she picked out? Oh, the Circle of Life Tarot. So this is kind of a fairy and otherworld beings deck that hasn't had a lot of use yet. This again was bought on the sale table in my local metaphysical shop. They were getting rid of a few tarot decks when I went in. I think I only paid about £10 for this, guys. And I always love to support my local shop over Amazon if at all possible. Now, you will have seen me do a reading with this earlier this year when I had that fae experience where I felt the fae had possessed my dog. If you want to see that, because I was actually filming at the time and I caught it all on film, it's a few videos back now, called Did the Fae Possess My Dog? Something like that. I couldn't actually believe that I was writing a video title that said those words, but it's all on film for you to see. And it was an amazing experience that pulled me to this deck, and this deck gave the most gorgeous reading. And I think it was this card that came out actually, which made me really excited to work more with this deck, which I haven't yet, so I need to rectify that. It's got these wonderful sort of mandala art backs, which again is a win for me because I love mandala art. I just think it's fab. Such a cool deck. So I am going to put this, oh my gosh, where have we got, what have we got places for? Oh, I'm going to leave 5 open. I'm going to put this in 7, although I would have probably have liked to put this higher up, but I just haven't worked with it enough yet, so it's not as emotionally attached to me as some others that might come out the bag. But it's such a cool deck, I love it. Okay, so I'm going to put this in at number 7. All right, let's delve into the bag again. Oh, the Gill Tarot. Oh my gosh. Okay, the Gill Tarot. This was the first tarot deck that I did an opening and initial impressions walkthrough of at the caravan. So it kind of, for me, always feels like a caravan deck for me. And you will have seen me in videos using this at the caravan to do sort of nature walks with. It's great for taking out, guys. If you want to go out on a tarot walk and use nature as the fifth suit, which I always talk about, like letting nature speak, then this is a great to pull within a nature walk. I'll link a video down below where I did just that, and it was incredible, and it was using this deck. And because of those experiences that I've had with this deck, I kind of am always blown away by it. This kind of feels like a me deck. Oh my gosh, but where's it gonna go? I've got, what have I got left? I've got 1, 5, 8 or 9. Oh my gosh, it's either going to go in at 1 or 5. Okay, I'm going to put it in at 5 just in case there's something else in the bag. This is so fun, guys. I love this tag. Look at that star card, isn't it beautiful? So yeah, it's going to go in at the 5th position. So this is the Gill Tarot. I love the big numbers. I love the keywords. Yeah, I love this. So this is going in at number 5. Oh, and it wouldn't be the Gill Tarot unless I showed you the back. We've got these incredible backs. We've got the Tree of Life on the back. How cool is that back? Okay, with position 1, 8 and 9 left. The next one, she's picked Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. Oh my gosh. I always class this as my first ever soul deck. And this, actually, I've got 3 copies of this. This is a copy that somebody sent me that was edged and trimmed. So this is without the edges, with all the words around the edge. Oh my gosh, I love this deck. So what this deck does in beautiful colours, I mean the colour palette I think on this deck is incredible. What it does is it takes the negative card, the slightly more negative cards of the tarot, and it really puts a positive spin on their write-up. And with the more positive cards of the tarot, it puts a slightly more negative slant on it. I mean, I've done a walkthrough of this deck very early on in my tarot practice, so I'm almost loath to send you to look at it because goodness only knows what I was saying about tarot all those years ago. But yeah, I love it. It is one that looks beautiful out in a spread. My all-time favourite death card is in here. I love this death card. Oh yeah, I love the death card. Pure example of the fact that it puts a more positive spin on what might be seen as a more negative card. Oh my gosh, this can't go in at 8 or 9, so this has got to go in at number 1. It can't go in at 8 or 9 because I love it so much. Tarot of the Sweet Twilight is going in at number 1, guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, so look at this. We only have positions 8 and 9 left. What am I doing? I'm spelling that word wrong. Okay, 8 or 9. All the top spots have gone. Goodness me. Please don't be one of my all-time favourites. Oh no! The Reclaim. The Reclaim Oracle. Oh my gosh. So the Reclaim in this gorgeous pink and black colourway. Oh, this is gorgeous. I love this deck. Again, loads of cards in the deck. It's black edged. It's just a lovely deck to work with. It would be higher up than 8 or 9. It's going to have to go in at 8. This would should definitely be higher because it's such a stunning deck. I love it. So I spent years working on emotional literacy, coming from a space of a codependent that had come out of a really toxic family system, like the codependent people pleaser of the bunch, that then became the black sheep, go figure, when I began to heal. For me, I was very emotionally illiterate, having never been allowed a voice, never been allowed a feeling. Like I was punished and ostracized if I ever expressed a feeling. Even happiness, I got told I was showing off if I expressed even happiness, something like that. And as for the more negative feelings, oh my gosh, you didn't dare ever express one of those. There was only one person in our house growing up that was allowed to have a feeling, and that was my mother. So that did take some work. It took years. Emotional literacy was the first thing I worked on to heal, and I think this deck is like an emotion wheel in a deck. I did so much work with emotion wheels and journaling with emotion wheels, so to get that in deck form I think is wonderful. So this is going to go in at number 8, although I think it should probably be higher. So this last deck is going in at number 9. Right, what have we got? Oh, we've got the gorgeous, sweet, wonderful Kawaii Tarot. Oh my gosh, this is another deck that I love, and I hope I've been in frame, guys. I hope I've been in frame or video. So the Kawaii Tarot is sunny and happy and just glorious. It's one of those decks that every time I use it, I just think it is a joy. Again, I think this should be higher than number 9 for sure, because it's a delight. It's an absolute delight. So it's full of all these amazing creatures. You've got pudgy unicorns, you've got hamsters, you've got pandas. It's just so lovely. Look, there's sloth and rabbits and sheep. It is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. So the Kawaii Tarot, it's got to go in at number 9, but should we see those all lined up, and then should we do a rejig? And then of course we've got to see where the Muse Tarot would have gone. Was Tilly right? Would that have gone in at number 1? Okay, let's have a look at them all lined up. So here we are, guys. Here is the ranking. This is what we've got. So the top was Tarot of the Sweet Twilight, Rose Alchemy Oracle, then the Zombie, then the Goddess of Love, then the Gill, then the Luminous Void, Circle of Life, Reclaim Kawaii, and then last of all the Radiant Rideaway in that bag. So that's where I've ranked them all, blind ranking. But would it change if I hadn't have blind ranked? Well, one of the biggest dilemmas I had was where to put the Rose Alchemy Oracle. Remember, I was umming and ahhing between 1 or 2. It went into second place. It should have been in first place. If I wasn't blind ranking it, that would be in first place. So that is the new order. Then the second place would be the Gill Tarot. So that shoots up from spot number 5 to spot number 2. But the reason being, I have a really strong emotional connection with the Gill Tarot. It's one of my earliest decks, so the emotional connection is there. We've also been on adventures together. Me and tarot decks on adventures, there is a massive bond that happens with me. And this is a deck that I'm just so used to throwing in my bag, especially when I'm at the coast. And I love it for that. So that's made it up from 5 to 2. So what's in third place? In third place, I'm going to leave the Tarot of the Sweet Twilight. Again, my first soul deck, the first deck I ever really crushed on. I still really love it. It was in first place. That's come down to third place. Right, next, I think I'm going to leave the Zombie Tarot where it is, to be honest. So this was in third place. It's come down to fourth place now. Not because I like this individual deck more than these decks, because I actually don't. It's not really my type of deck, really. but it's in fourth place because it's so important in my practice. Paired with the Nicoletta Ciccoli, as I said, it's got a really important role and place in my practice, and because of that it deserves to be in fourth place there. Okay, in fifth place, out of these remaining ones, I think in fifth place it's going to have to be the Reclaim. The Reclaim gets moved up from spot number 8 to spot number 5. Like I said, just that idea of having a sort of emotion wheel but in deck form, it's so useful, and it just can add so much useful work, especially if you're working around like emotional literacy. Like if you've done a reading, you say what might be, say, an underlying emotion that's driving this, and pull some cards from the Reclaim. It can open up a whole ton of things to explore, and I love it for that. So that's made it up from number 8 all the way up to, what are you? You're number 5 now. So in sixth place, we did have the Luminous Void in 6, and it is still there. But out of these ones that are left, I think I'm going to move the Circle of Life up to 6th. So the Circle of Life was in at, what was the Circle of Life? It was in at number 7, so that's moved up one spot. I'm moving it up because I think if you are working with anything like Fae energy, and again nature energy outside, sort of that underworld energy, it's a really interesting deck to use. And although I've not used it much, the experience that I've had with it, again an experience outside, which immediately bonds me to a deck, I think that it's like a powerful little it's a little powerhouse in a circular box, and I think that deserves to come up a spot. Right, so we are on number 7. Okay, so I've got these left. The Goddess of Love has slipped down because we really did get some powerhouses come out. Okay, what do I want in the set? I think I'm going to have to put the Kawaii, just because it's such a flipping joy to work with. It just, you can't work with it and not smile. So that's going to come up to number 7. It was at number 9. Right, number 8. I'm going to leave the Goddess of Love at number 8 because it is a beautiful deck to work with. I love the guidebook. That has slipped down. That was in at, oh, it was in at number 4. Sorry, Goddess of Love. If I'd have worked with that slightly more, these two could possibly be swapped, but just the smile factor of the Kawaii, it needs to go above the Goddess of Love for me. Okay, so the last two. So I think the Luminous Void was in at number 6, but I'm going to leave that one at number 9. And the only one that stays in the same spot is the Radiant Rideaway. It stays at number 10. So that is the non-blind ranking of decks. So there's been a few changes around. Now, the deck that Tilly wanted me to put into this tag, but we couldn't find. Where does the Muse go? Now, Tilly decided that it should go in at number 1. But Tilly, I don't think it's going to go in at number 1. Do you know where I'm going to put it, Tilly? I am going to put it in at number 2. So it is high up. So you were absolutely right. It was going to be high up. It's going to sit with the Gill Tarot at position number 2. I love the Muse. It's the deck that completely changed my mind about collage decks. I love the colour palette. I love Chris Ann's decks. Do you know what, Tilly? It could almost, now I'm talking about it, go in at number 1. Do you know what? I think I'm going to put it in at number 1, Tilly. I think you were right. Oh my gosh, guys, Tilly was right all this time. It does go in at number 1, along with the Rose Oracle. And seeing those two together now, it's making me think, I bet those would make a lovely pairing. So I might leave those decks out and try. So, guys, that's it. Thank you so much, Sylvie, for this fun tag. It was so fun. Would you guys like to watch another blind ranking video, because I'm sure I could get Busby or Poppy to pick me 10 decks as well, because it's just been really fun, and it's a nice chance just to look at decks, as if we need an excuse, but it's a nice excuse handed to us, isn't it? So thanks Sylvie, thanks Carrie, and thanks Rochelle. I'll leave all of those videos down below as well. And thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.